that moving, get those toxins out. And acupuncture can be used to stimulate the organs of detoxification. So it is possible to do detoxification without a supplemental program, but it's not going to be as therapeutic. So if you have a problem that you want to get at and you want to tackle, then supplementation is probably going to be the route for you to go. Oh, things to avoid during detox. Got ahead of myself a little bit. Alcohol and added sugar, both of them tax the liver greatly and cause inflammation in ugly cells. And that's why we didn't have wine with dinner tonight, so I'm so sorry. Meat-heavy diets are just a little harder to digest. It keeps your body busy digesting instead of working on the detoxification. Non-foods or highly processed foods, things your grandmother didn't recognize as food. I can't remember who says that. Somebody has a book that talks about that, but it's so important. If you can't pronounce it, except for quinoa, I saw that once. Eat quinoa. If you can't pronounce it, then it's not a food, and you probably shouldn't put it in your body.
What is a non-food?
Like sodium benzoate, a preservative, red dye number 5. You know, things.
So, but we're just trying to think of a food we would recognize.
Hot dogs.
Apple. You know, something that came from the ground.
Apple's good.
Right, apples are good.
Yeah,
you
but
know
hot
where it
dogs
came
are
from.
bad.
Hot dogs, you can have hot dogs that are made from whole parts.
Right.
But if they have nitrates and sodium benzoate and
Right.
this chemical process to make them, then they're not so good. Honestly, if you make it at home, you're probably going to be a lot better off.
Even
Because
if
you
buy
can
it
buy,
at the store.
well, not if it came in a box.
Preservatives and-
Right, but if you buy the parts of the food, like if you're going to have pizza as a treat, then buy flour and yeast and make pizza dough. And, you know, make pizza sauce. It makes it a lot more complicated. Then it becomes more of a treat. You're not eating it with coffee. You know, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
What about yogurt?
Yogurt has so much sugar in it.
Well, I looked for the sugar, I figured that out.
Okay, so you eat plain yogurt?
But I eat the plain FAGE, it only has 8 grams of sugar, whereas a Habani, which I was eating, not
Yeah, like a fruit flavored
it
one.
was like 22 grams of sugar.
So like a dairy product like yogurt may be great for you, but it may be inflaming you and you wouldn't know until you take the
Right,
test.
okay.
Yes.
I found that cottage cheese, I stopped eating yogurt because it put weight on me. And I won't eat the stuff with the artificial sweeteners at all, because I know that
That would be a
they're
good example of
very
a non-food.
neurotoxins
Yeah.
are, and, you know, people don't know about it, but my son happens to be one of those people who was very affected. They thought he had Hodgkin's lymphoma, he had reactive lymph nodes, they removed them, he stopped using the sweet and low. His platelets were down to 109,000.
I have that.
And
And some people are more sensitive to
But
this.
now he's back using them, and he shakes all the time. And we have a friend who has the same problem. But getting back to the yogurt, I started eating cottage cheese, which had no sugars, and I just put some blueberries with it. And just by eliminating the yogurt, I've lost 15 pounds in a year.
Sugar in it.
But the thing about cottage cheese, just for anybody who has high blood pressure, it's loaded with sodium.
Yeah.
So that's
Some of them
why
are less than others.
I can't eat.
You have to become a label reader, like an investigator, right? And that's, if you take the test, that's what you become, because that sheet will tell you what you're sensitive to, but it'll tell you where to find it. Like I had raspberries on there. When it says natural fruit flavoring, it oftentimes contains apricots or raspberries, and that's probably why I got on the list. Not because I was eating raspberries, but because I was eating processed food that said natural fruit sweetener. So it tells you what to look for, and you just have to become diligent about what you put in the body.
What about agave? I hear mixed things about agave.
Yeah, that's like a whole other topic on what sweeteners to choose. Agave has very high fructose levels. If you can just choose, if you eat a whole fruit, you're going to be so much better off. You know, if you put blueberries in your cottage cheese instead of agave syrup, right, you'd be better off. Maybe a little bit of honey, but yeah. Okay, next slide. So our supplemental program contains 4 supplements that work synergistically together. They are very highly bioavailable, and they list everything that's in them. So at a seminar I went to, the doctor was saying she was giving a person probiotics and they were having terrible reactions. She's like, nobody reacts to a probiotic. Where did this come from? Did the sensitivity testing. She was sensitive to the cellulose, which was the capsule of the pill. So there's, you know, not everyone is that sensitive. I don't want you to think we're all walking time bombs, because that's not the case, but it's interesting how individualized it can get. So everything's listed and very bioavailable, meaning that it's absorbed. It's not going to run through your system. As a chiropractor, I've seen plenty of x-rays with the G and C vitamins sitting in the digestive tract, just going straight on through, not getting used one bit. So you have to make sure that these things can be absorbed and are broken down in your body. The 4 supplements that we recommend are called Detoxis, Liver Protect, Active C, and Essential C, or Essential 3. I'll go through each of these. First, Detoxis. And this is the major detoxifying supplement that we're recommending. It's full of sulfur amino acids to remove toxic metals such as lead and mercury, toxic minerals like cadmium, and solvents such as benzene and biocides, which are pesticides and herbicides. It helps to clear toxins in the nerve and immune system tissues and cells. It neutralizes cellular acid. I said earlier that a more alkaline pH makes the body work better, and it's the same on a cellular level. And the recommended dosage is 1 to 2 tabs per day. Now this is the one that can make you feel a little sick. When you're on a detox, you're flushing these toxins, your body has to deal with them again, and you may feel a little run down, a little tired, a little queasy. If that happens and it's too much, you can cut down the dosage and then just extend the length of time that you take the supplement. The next is called Liver Protect, and this is also like the T helper cell, telling the liver, keep going, you can do this, giving it a little support so it can get through this process of having to deal with all the toxins that are being kicked up again by the Detoxis supplement. It protects the liver from damage associated with environmental toxicity. It supports the liver during the detox process, helping with energy and better immune system response while you're in this kind of a more vulnerable state because you're trying to get rid of all the junk that has been built up. And it has milk thistle herb and other synergistic antioxidants. Milk thistle is, you'll hear about that a lot with liver supplementation. And this company adds in good synergistic antioxidants that make it more available and it works better. 1 to 2 tabs per day is the dose on that. The third is Essential 3, and this is an omega-3 fatty acid or fish oil supplement. So Dr. Jaffe, who is actually the doctor that came up with this program, he says Americans need to change their oil. We need to switch from omega-6 fatty acids to omega-3. We need both because we need that acute inflammatory response, which is the omega-6. But the omega-3 is the anti-inflammatory response, and we don't eat enough of the foods that are more anti-inflammatory. It helps to remove fat-soluble toxins. It has EPA and DHA essential fatty acids. When you hear essential in front of a nutrient, it means that we need it and we don't make it ourselves. It has, omega-3 fatty acids are key to the anti-inflammatory process, as I said. And because it comes from fish oil, you get worried about mercury. This is a very third-party tested company. They distill and nitrogen purify their nitrogen purge their omega-3 fatty acids. They come from whitefish, so I could take them because they weren't from tuna or salmon. And they're very pure and not full of mercury and toxins. So you have to be careful where you get your omega-3s. And also, really check if you have some at home. Make sure you're keeping up on the expiration date because oil can go rancid, as you know. And if it's not real stable or it's beyond its expiration date, throw it away. Rancid oil is no good. Dosage on that is 1 to 2 times per day. The last one is Active C, and this is an ascorbate acid or a vitamin C. This is a powder that you do mix with water. It's not a shake. It's kind of a sour. I like it. Someone who I have taking it is not a big fan, so she takes it with less water and drinks water afterwards. What the vitamin C does is mobilizes and removes toxins, repairs and supports the immune system, provides a powerful antioxidant support and protection, and supports brain function and hormonal balance. Vitamin C, there's an interesting fact about it, is that all mammals, with the exception of gerbils and humans, make their own vitamin C in their liver. So if you look at the diet of a gerbil, it's very high in fruits and vegetables. If you look at the diet of an average American, that's not so much the case. So if they take, for example, a chimpanzee, and it's under high stress, hormonal fluctuation, its body is creating more vitamin C because it's demanding more. And so we don't always get those changes on such a quick level. And that's why the supplementation is important. And with this, you have an individualized dose based on a C calibration that we can talk through if it's something you're interested in. We use the C for our weekly cleanse and also for as a supplement in between 2 a weekly cleanse for the digestive system, and then we take a dosage throughout the week for supplementation. So in summary, inflammation can be good and it can be bad if it goes on too long. Chronic inflammation is damaging and it leads to chronic disease. So we need to stop filling your bucket. Get tested to determine individualized sensitivities, and then we need to make yourself a bigger bucket, and we start that with a 30-day detox. And then there's a whole program that we can work that's more individualized, we can't talk about to such a big group, as far as helping your body repair. So at this time, does anybody have any questions?
I've heard some reports of some detox, not this one, but some of the detox methods that people use for detoxing from metals and such. Just being horrible tasting and to the point where they can't continue with the detox.
Right.
Are you getting any reports like that with us?
No, you have, you're taking 3 tabs morning and night, and they're like a multivitamin. As far as swallowing them, it's not bad. And the vitamin C powder that you put in the water, to me it tastes a little sour. Some people say a little bit bitter. But you could put it in this much water and then just drink a cup of water afterwards. So you could kind of, if
You
it
can dilute
tastes
it
that
as much
horrible.
as you want.
So, yeah, to me it just has a sour taste, really.
So it doesn't matter how much water you use with it as long as you get the
Right.
volume of the product that you need.
Get the volume, and then you want to drink enough water along with it. Yeah, and it'd be something that you space out through the day as well.
So if you're doing this, do you suggest you stop any other supplements that you're already
That
accustomed to taking?
we could probably talk about that on an individual basis, like taking a multivitamin, but
Plenty of other things.
yeah, you bring your list in.
Is the LRA testing covered by insurance?
It oftentimes is not, unfortunately. When you get into the functional medicine and holistic care, a lot of times you don't find coverage in traditional insurance plans. What we do is we just bill cash, and if you want to submit it to your insurance, you may get some coverage back, but
So the price of the testing?
the price of the testing is, if you want to the next slide.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Last question. So you've been talking about individualized inflammation
Yes.
determinants. My understanding is that the high sensitivity C-reactive protein test, blood test, is a good indicator for the combined inflammatory response.
Yes, it's a
in the
very
body.
generalized marker.
Yeah, but is there any value? I mean, they say it's very highly correlated, like you said about depositing calcium for atherosclerosis,
Right.
since it's very correlated with
Yeah,
that.
you can get into some cardiovascular specific testing, and they use C-reactive protein a lot in
So
that.
do you find value in that? Is that worth doing? If you
I
had?
don't combine them necessarily. If it's something that you're interested in looking at and charting, we have the availability to
Because
do
I was
that.
thinking if it's low enough, is that, like,
Right.
if it's low enough, is that an indicator that you
That you
don't
may
have?
not need this.
Exactly.
Right. We have brochures that will go through it, and it's very symptom based. I mean, if you wanted to use the C-reactive protein to decide, that could be done. And can you hand out the brochures?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because this is not something that everyone needs. Some people can just go through the detoxification supplementation and feel better. But if in the inside of this brochure, you open it up, there's some questions about symptomatology and how you're feeling, and then things that you do that create a more anti-inflammatory state, and it gives you a number. So you can see where you fall on that number, and if it's something for you, then it's something you can pursue.
Dr. Bohl, I'd like to address Bob's question.
Okay.
Bob and Peg are my neighbors, by the way.
And we're here
Anyway.
because of them, and we appreciate their.
One of the things I wanted to tell you about was my experience with C-reactive protein. For years, my C-reactive protein level has been high.
And that was the one that was
recently-
high with me too.
Yeah, and recently it's been higher, so my primary physician was concerned about that because she said it's an indicator of heart issues. And since I have heart disease in my family, I thought, okay, what do we do about this? So she referred me to a cardiologist who, one of his fortes is combining the different drugs in a certain dosage so that it's more effective in your body. But one of the things he also did was do a more precise test to check the C-reactive protein level. And when that came back, he said to me, I'm not worried about you. He said, this C-reactive protein is an indicator of inflammation. In your case, it's not an inflammation that has anything to do with your cardiac function. It's an
that was going on
indicator of
somewhere.
inflammation
Yeah, it
in
can go
your
up in
body.
infection, it can go up with arthritic
Mhm.
changes.
Right.
Wouldn't some kind of regular exercise program help out with any kind of inflammation?
Yeah, usually a low impact, kind of a lower intensity program is better for, bringing down the inflammation. In my case where I was doing too much, it was going the other way, so. Did I answer your question? Okay, I wanna make sure I understood you guys.
How long do the slide indicates 4 high-quality bioactive supplements?
30 days.
Okay, so every 30 days that you'll incur?
No, this detoxification program you would do once, maybe twice a year. It's not something that you continue on and on. After you get through with the detoxification program, we would do a consultation and figure out what the best route is to repair tissues for your specific symptomatology.
So it's typical one time 30 days and then perhaps later
And
repeat?
then maybe add some supplements if needed for you to help repair tissues that may have been damaged.
And how many pills a day?
This would be 6 a day. So what I'll present this and I'll go on with more questions. We have this test available. Please, take the time to go through the brochure, see if it's right for you. I'm not saying everyone in this room would need it, but it is available and we have it here. I was able to get 5 discounted tests, so we'll just have people, we have your names that signed up for the talk tonight, and we'll reserve them for the first 5 people from here that go for it. So that would be $4.90. Now this is the basic test. We're testing 144 different substances, and it's a good test. If you have a more chronic or severe condition, we can sit down and talk, and you may need a more comprehensive test. I did a more comprehensive one, just, I like to know a lot of things. The supplementation program is for the 4 supplements, and that is for $132 for all 4 supplements. And if you go ahead with the program, then it does include consultations with myself, and if they're one-on-one meetings, and we'll probably do, I don't think I wrote the number, 3 consultations through that. If more are needed, we can do that. Also, I'm available for email consultation with you during that 30-day, but I'm pretty available as far as asking questions anyway. We don't do a lot of limitations with that. Also, for coming tonight, we have some some cards that have a free consultation on there. So if you ever want to just come in to talk about what you specifically have going on, Jamie and Erin do a great job at the front desk. They can get you set up with consultations. Jamie can hand out those cards here.
And the more comprehensive test is how much?
Oh goodness, the highest level I think is at $790. It can get expensive. There is a mid-level that's, I don't know the exact price of, but it's in the 500 range.
It's, my question is, you
Mhm.
said, like, for example, salmon is one of the things that you're
Yeah.
sensitive to. I know once your body heals, what is it that's going to make you be able to have salmon again?
Right, you can slowly add these things back into your system and see how you feel. It's interesting once you get through the program that I have so much better attunement to know what's giving me trouble. And when I get off track, I start to fill my bucket up, and I can feel the symptoms coming. So I'm able to make the dietary changes I need to help reduce that.
So, if you have this testing and say you're...
You can retest
you're-
too. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you could either add things and slowly see how you react, or if you wanted to run through and do the test again to see how your lymphocytes are reacting, you can do a retest.
But won't you always test positive to the same
No.
things?
You won't.
Oh.
You can clear it from your system so your body doesn't react to it.
So, for example, let's say that you don't test sensitive to, say, apples.
Okay,
Does that mean you may test sensitive to apples
possible.
later?
it's possible.
Oh.
Yes.
So it's always,
See,
you're
but you're not
always
always-
behind the 8 ball.
Not
though.
necessarily. I mean, you may always have sensitivities, but if you can keep, go back to the bucket reference, the metaphor, if you can keep the levels low, your body can handle some inflammatory responses. So it's okay if you are eating apples and it's not giving you trouble, or you can handle it. We really are. Our bodies are so amazing at adjusting to change and compensating for things that we do to it all the time. So if you're not getting to that point of overflowing your bucket, you're probably never going to feel the need to retest again. But if you get to that point where you're having the symptomatology, whatever that may be for you,
Right.
then you may seek out doing another test. I'm retesting really out of curiosity because I want to see what may have cleared or what didn't. Yes. Yeah, if you need to leave, I know we're running a little long, so if anyone needs to head out, that's fine. I'll be right with you, okay?
Well, this was just about your personal journey.
Mhm.
Did were you able to be successful in following this program?
I
or-
was, which is shocking. Ask Jamie how many times I tried that 21-day
Okay.
detox. I was terrible at it. I could not make myself eat right according to that plan.